Hello my wonderful friends on the internet. Today's video is going to be exciting and I promise you you're going to love it. And in this video we're going to create a digital clock using JavaScript as usual. And on the screen you can see the preview of what our final product is going to be. So I'm going to go back, open my VS Code, and in my VS Code I already have the HTML file with some tags. And I have the index.js, the CSS, sorry, and the index.js, which is empty for now. And I have the link to the CSS file. I have the link also to the JS file. So underneath the body tag, I'm going to create a div with a class with clock body, and that is going to take in is going to display our clock. So I'll use the class clock body and hit enter. Okay, this is the class and that's what we need in our HTML tag. So moving on to the index.css, we are going to add a little bit of styling to this. So first I'm going to select the class with its name, clock body, and give this a margin. What this will do is to position it to the center. Auto. And for now let me open this so that we can see the output of what we are doing. So I'm going to right click on this and open with live server. And this is going to open our browser of the live server. Right now we don't have anything, nothing displayed inside. But if we want to see the content of what we are styling, I'm going to go back to the HTML file and add a little text here. So I'm just add a basic h1 tag which we are going to remove later. So let me say hello. Okay, if we go back to our CSS, you can see the hello text is already displaying here. I'm just want to shrink this so that we can see everything. Okay, this is looking good. So back to our CSS file, I'm going to align this text to the center using the text align property. So I'll align this to the center and also give this a background color of Gainsborough. Give it a width of 100 pixels. And this width is not that necessary. You can decide to omit it in your code. But in this lesson, I'm just going to input it there. So we give this a font size because we want it to be bold, to be more visible. So I'm going to give this a font size of 50 pixels. And as well, give it a font weight of bold. So this will make it a little bit bolder. And I'll be changing the color to blue with a font family of Arial. Okay. So this is everything we need in our CSS file. So I'm going to go over to the index.js file. So for now we have seen the output of, we have styled it, seen the output of how the digital clock is going to display on our browser. So I can go back to my HTML file and remove this h1 tag. So we don't need it anymore. Going back to the index.js file, I'm going to create a constant first, which a variable which is going to hold the clock body as our display. So I'm going to use a constant keyword and say display document.query selector, and I'm going to select the class using the dots and pass on the class name, which is clock body, like so. So I can go down and create a constant to which will hold our new dates, the minute, the hour, the seconds, and everything, and then display it to the browser. So I'm going to create a custom. Actually, this is a new method of creating function in ESCs. So that's what I'm going to use instead of this normal function way that we use. So I'm going to use the constant method and give the function a name. So this will be call date function. Okay, and I'll use the inside this parentheses you can put a parameter, but here we are not using a parameter, so I'm just going to skip that and open the curly braces. Inside of it we are going to create a variable to hold the date. So I'm going to say new date. Remember to use capital letter, because if you use a small letter it's going to generate an error. So underneath it I'm going to create a variable that will hold the hours, the minutes, and the seconds by refreshing the date variable as well. So I'll say date hours equals to the date. So inside the date access I'm going to use the get hours method with 2 parentheses and close that up. Going down, I'm going to create a new variable which will hold the minute, and as well still access it through the date variable, and then give this a minute method. Also create the last one and access the date get seconds. Okay, that's all for the variables. So now we have the hours, the minutes, and the seconds. So I'm going to go here. So this is going to display the date. Still inside the function, we're going to create a new variable, and this will take in the variable name date holder. And here I'm going to use the backtip because I want to concatenate this. I'm going to use the backtip method, and this is also introduced in ESCs. And this $sign and this curly braces is known as placeholder for holding this variable here. So inside this placeholder I'm going to pass in the variable hours, and here I'm going to use a name h, so to know that this is the hour. Also I'm going to create another placeholder and pass in the variable minutes and use the minutes character there. Lastly, I'm going to create another placeholder, and this will take in the second variable. I'm going to still pass in the s, and that's it. So remember to close it with the. So underneath it, I'm going to create set an interval. So in every 1 second, call the function. So I'm going to say set timeout, or you can use set interval, whichever one you prefer. But in this video, I'm going to use set timeout, and we're going to call this call date function name inside of here. So I'm going to say call date function, comma, and pass in 1. So this is going to call the function every 1 second. So if it's calling it, what do we want it to do? We want it to display this minutes, seconds, and hour inside this display, remember, which we reference as .clock body. So underneath it, I'm going to say display by calling the variable name here display. So I'll say display dot its inner HTML. Set it to the date holder. Yes, I'm going to put a little space here. So what this means is that the display.inner HTML set its inner HTML to this value here, hour, minute, and seconds. So having done that, I'm going to come down here and call this date function. So I'll say call date function close. You can see automatically we have our digital clock displaying here, but this is not looking cool. Let me change this letters to lowercase. Okay, here we have it. 19 hours 11 minutes 56 seconds. I need to continuously be reading. You can see it's going just like that. Okay, but you see, in a digital clock, we don't want this 2 alone to show. We want to display a 0 before the cease. So we are going to use an if statement. That is to say, if the seconds is less than 10, add a 0 to it. So I'm going to say if, using the variable name second is less than 10, so I'll say display .inner HTML. I'm going to copy these and paste, and I will add a 0 before the seconds. So let's see 59. You can see now it's showing 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 6, and it should show like that until it reaches 10, and then the 0 is off. So you can go ahead and add this, because very soon, if this 13 minutes, which I know eventually is going to, after reaching 59, is going to come back to 0. So I want you to try to see if you can make the same thing happen to the minutes and the hours by creating another if statement. So guys, that's it for this video. You can see it's exactly the same as this one, except that this one I increased the text, I increased the font size, but this one the font size is not too big. But you can see there are the same thing, the same hours, the same minutes, the same seconds. You can change your dates, you know, to see it's still going to change. So guys, that is all for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. I'm going to see you in the next video. I love you guys.